And it reminds me of Harold Enos. He wrote, I think it's Methods of Communication. I've referenced him before, but he talks about the growth of language, right? So when it was like ruins or hieroglyphs, right? You had to take your time and you thought a lot about what you were saying. So the thoughts of humans were different, right? You took your time, and then when it went to papyrus, right? Then the thoughts got faster. They could share more information. They could do with more information, right? And then with the computer and so on and so forth, right? These things have evolved the human's capacity in some regards, and in particular to cursive, that was also another leap going from like angled lettering to cursive, which is a free, it's closer to the free flowing state of mind, right? Because there's no interruptions. That's the power of
Mm,
cursive and its impact on your mind. So that's why it's important to teach every kid to write cursive, because it's the closest thing to being able to transcribe your thoughts seamlessly. Um, there's no breaks.
this is a trip because it's touching on what Yurt and I were talking about the other day. That book that I sent you, In a Swarm. I'm trying to get that to be a thing that like you, me, him, and Benton at least, and then it could blossom from there. But that we chit chat about. But you're touching on the same exact thing through like the hieroglyphs, and then through coming to writing and now typing. And a part of the book talks about like how quickly now our communication is, and you can send a thought onto Twitter almost instantaneously, and how you might regret that. And whereas if you want to say something to someone through a letter, you would have to think about it. And so I'm thinking how we're changing, we're evolving based on this technology, and where is that going to go in the future? Like if we keep going in this super fast speed, and the book is like In a Swarm, so it's like, are we going to start to lose a part of who we are as the humans we know now, and
Yeah.
become this hive mind, this swarm?
Looking back, I was fascinated in time where people would write letters, right? Because I was like, holy shit, um, that's really cool. These individuals in history communicated, the presidents and founding fathers. Like I was interested in that, and then I like just looking at letters overall and other books. It talks about that love was expressed through writing fat letters. So you really knew someone loved you because you get something in the mail and it'd be a really fat letter. Like they wrote pages and pages and pages and pages. And now today we send people like emojis or one or two sentences or a picture or a video. Like
Right, right.
so our expression for people isn't really as well thought out or lengthened, and maybe we, I don't know. That's just kind of what I was thinking in regards to that.
Yeah, yeah. It feels not this word. It feels hollow. It feels like it's lacking that that there's no substance. And yeah, what are we trading for that? Like the emoji thing trips me out. It's like, what really gets me is that some people, they'll text like THX, or they don't type out the full thank you. Are you kidding me? Like, can't you just type like thank you? Like it feels like it's like not even a thank you anymore.
It, absolutely, and it's encouraged in our society and culture too. This, I think, disintegration of the nomenclature or the English vernacular for or the standard of it or the respect for it. So there, um, I I think it's tied into also like I think critical race theory. I don't know in some regards where like this idea of what we think of standard English and proper speaking is somewhat, I guess, racist. And so the decolonization of the language is being encouraged, right? So taking the language and then making it your own is kind of what I'm seeing a lot now, like with THX or abbreviating words or using different letters. So if we're talking about white people, you do YT, right? And I like it's just fascinating to see how this occurs, and it's always going to occur because English is a living language. But
Right.
the way it's being, the way the language is evolving, to me looks as though it's being culturally engineered rather than organic growth.
Yeah. that's perfect because it goes into, what he's talking about, mimetic culture, and now we're being given packets of information through these memes, and that is like kind of we're deconstructing all of our language now. So there's this place for new things to blossom, and so these people are coming in with the memes that are like pretty dense pieces of information that you can't even really. It happens so quickly, and it replicates, and then it mutates, and before you know it, it's like really rooting into people.
It is, and it is meme warfare, right? And using memes as a general source of communication because they're already prepackaged with propaganda that already has a resonance. So when you immediately hit with the resonance sometimes of the propaganda, and then the different angle that's put into it, the meme, right? I think is it's played up because of that, and you might perceive it more positively because the meme is a Star Wars meme, or you
Yeah.
know what I mean. In some regards, it's uh, all there's all kinds of memes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see what you're saying. You can smuggle in ideas through some of this imagery where it's like, "Oh, I love Star Wars," and there's nothing that could be nefarious about Star Wars, but someone who's like more sophisticated in that mimetic warfare could incept an idea into you over time, or yeah.
Especially in subcultures, right? So the different subcultures of like Reddit's a good example of how they're created because they're called subreddits, but you see them on YouTube. What happens is you have a team or a group of people who now there's a huge fan base of people who are into Star Wars. Then they're like, oh, let's amp it up with some alt right memes, but they start small, or they could be all far left. However, propaganda, the guerrilla marketing, I think that's the term,
Yeah,
wants to
yeah,
do it. So they can infiltrate these subcultures and then take people from them and move them to a place they never thought they would be, just with
yeah.
an idea. But yeah, because sometimes I'm like, oh, these subcultures are perfect if you ever want to, you know, like Star Wars is a general place, right, of propaganda. But if you want to, there's so many people to take people from that group and move them somewhere else by memes. I think it's possible. They have to sift those people out, I would imagine. But how can you
Mhm.
tell a genuine meme from another one, right? Or like that's the other thing, right? Who made the meme?
Yeah, yeah. It goes to the other part of the book, the anonymity of all of this internet conversation and um, relating to each other. Yeah, the meme stuff is like it could be anybody. Um, so then it doesn't even tie the consequence to the name. You have some kind of consequence to when you speak as who you are in public. That you have a reputation.
Certainly, yeah. The anonymity is fascinating, and there's a lot of power behind it. And I think that there's going to be, and there already is, like a movement to like what's it called, make the internet not anonymous, right?
Right, right,
19 Orwellian, right? Sounds
right,
Orwellian, right?
right.
But even then, so let's just say everybody is who they are. They can still post a meme. The meme's anonymous, right? And or a company could post a video, like a commercial, essentially a meme. They're not going to show they're produced. They don't give screen roll credits for commercials, which are turning into memes.
Yeah, I get tripped out because I'll go to my mom's and she'll be watching Fox News, and then the commercials will come on, and I'm like, oh my god. The commercials are so, they're usually for pharmaceuticals, and they're so just humdrum and banal, and I'm like, millions of dollars have gone into, maybe even billions, research and development and picking out all these things. When I think about it, it's impressive, but it's so smooth that you don't even, you're just like, oh, the people walking in the park, and and it's for like itchy skin, whatever, who cares? But like that stuff, it gets to people.
It does. It hits the nostalgia markers, right? And then the side effects too after all those commercials are so interesting. It's like, oh man.